Hey, how are we doing, guys? Gray here, and today we are back for our draft analysis for the Pokemon Premier League, the PPL. The Dumb Fanatic passed me the reins to this league, and honestly, this is a league that I know not just to me, but to a load of people, has a really soft spot in their heart. Don't think that's the right saying, but that's what I'm going with. Yeah, this league really kind of brought a lot of people together, including me and my fiance. So I really wanted this league to come back, and we're coming back in a big way. We managed to get coaches like Pokeaim, Envy, Nexus, Mephisto, Drewby, as well as literally some of the best players in has been a part of Generation 8 Draft League in Cuda Costa Rican, Mountay, El Scizor, JV, Ellie, Addison. This roster is stacked. It really is. But it's going to be fantastic content. We've got a lot planned for you. So make sure to go check out the PPL Discord as well as the PPL YouTube channel. You'll be able to see the YouTube channel, that side, on the draft slide in front of you. You've already seen the team. The team's right in front of you. So yeah, if you just came here to see what the team was, you can go ahead and click away if you want. By all means, it's up to you. But if you are going to stick around, please do leave a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on the entirety of this PPL season. We've got other draft leagues as well. We've got BBR, we've got ICP, we've got PBA, and GBA coming up at a later date. So a lot going on, and hopefully we're going to have a bit more frequent videos. I know I've taken a good month off, but I was planning for this. I also run BBA, so it's been a really hectic kind of month for me, and I need to catch up on uploads and all sorts. It's not been a good time. It's not been a good time for me uploading, but we're back on track. Hopefully for good now. Now everything's kind of settled out and we're good. Anyway, I've just rambled on for 2 minutes without even discussing the team that's in front of me. So yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll get straight into this. And I will preface this by saying a couple of mons will change after week 1. I will say which ones they are at the end of the video, just because I don't want to spoil what's going on, my process of drafting with things that I've decided to trade away. So first off, I wanted to make sure I got mons that I haven't used before, as well as mons that are coming back in home, and I was able to get 4th pick, which is fantastic. That meant I was almost guaranteed to get something that kind of fits that description, and I was able to pick up Enamorus. Enamorus is a really fun mon, really good special attack, decent speed, 106 is nothing to laugh at, and then 115 attack as well is actually really good, especially with contrary superpower. It can kind of pop off a little bit. However, this mon is mainly it's not really... So yeah, this mon is going to be a massive threat. It is a great win con. It's also a potential breaker on the team. But usually, you go with your Dragonsteel Fairy Cores. I decided to pick that up in my 2nd pick. So with 2 picks, Hisuian Goodra, we have our Dragonsteel Fairy Core. Hisuian Goodra is a mon that I really wanted to use in a couple of showdown leagues that have had the home mons in for a little while, and never got to be able to use it. So when it came back and it was still there, I was like, you know what, I'm just taking it. This thing has fantastic all-round stats, barring its speed. It did lose a little bit of speed compared to regular Goodra, but honestly it just makes up for it in defense, and that just makes it even better. The typing is great. It's going to be unfortunately a steel type that doesn't get rocks, but we are making it up with our picks, and I thought, Hisuian Goodra just kind of pairs really nicely with Enamorus. They kind of cover each other's weaknesses really well, and offensively they're able to deal with each other's checks, so it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's a mon that I just really wanted to use. 3rd pick is a mon that really hasn't been appreciated much this gen, because it has lost a lot of moves, but it has kept all of its hazards, it has kept all its setup, and it is still Mew. It's still bulky, it's still fast, or relatively fast, and it's still going to be strong on both the physical and the special side, especially with setup. So Mew just seemed like a fantastic sort of glue piece to work the rest of my team around. Bulk, defensively, it works really well with Hisuian Goodra. Offensively, it also works pretty nicely with Enamorus, albeit that cohesion is not necessarily that great. They kind of fit the same things to an extent, but there is also going to be matches where Mew's coverage is just too valuable to pass up. So with those 3 picks, I was pretty happy. I was like, you know what, we got good bulk, we got pretty good win conditions in Mew and Enamorus. So I was going to just kind of pick up some other pieces that I wanted to use. Another one that I just didn't get to use at all so far this gen is Iron Hands. This mon always seems like a lot of fun. I've already wanted to use it from day one of the game releasing, but I just never get around to using it. And since it was still there on the 4th round, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, Iron Hands. And yeah, it's a good mon. It's a very good mon. Very, very, very bulky. Deceptively bulky on the special side, even though it's got like base 68 SPDEF. The fact that it's still able to just invest entirely into SPDEF if it wants to, and be able to tank as many hits as it wants with an assault vest and max special defense, it will take a special hit from anything, near enough anything. So yeah, I want to pick up Iron Hands just because, firstly, it's one that I wanted to use. It was 2 typings that I didn't have, and yeah, it's just a fun one. It's just a fun one. That's literally half my draft. Is just going to be, it's a fun one. Hisuian Arcanine. This is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon coming out of Legends Arceus. Man, have I wanted to use this for a long time, and when it was still on the board after 5 picks, I was like, I've got to do it. I've just got to pick this mon up. It's a phenomenal wall breaker on the physical side, which outside of Iron Hands, which could be a wall breaker, but I don't want it to be like a designated that you're going to have to break. This gives me a really strong physical breaker to partner with like Enamorus being a really good special breaker. And yeah, it's just going to be a really strong mon. It's one of the mons that it's just, its design is incredible. It's got rock head now as well, so it hits hard as a truck, you could say, with head smash and flare blitz, wild charge as well. We need that coverage for water types, and of course it gets extreme speed, which I mean, priority to this point hasn't been great, and my speed tiers are a little all over the place. So yeah, Hisuian Arcanine kind of filled a gap in speed tiers as well as giving me that physical breaker. Also does give me Stealth Rocks, which outside of Mew at this point I didn't have. However, I did then pick up Tinglu, so you know, I got a better rocker, a more reliable rocker. Again, I didn't want you or Hisuian Arcanine to be my designated rockers, so I went up and picked Tinglu. Defensively, this thing just lives. It just lives. With the what's it called? The Hat of Ruin, the Bowl of Ruin. I can't remember what the fucking ability's called, but the thing on its head is ruinous, and because of that, it takes less from special attacks. So, you know, that's kind of nice. We also have a monstrous HP stat and a monstrous defense stat, as well as a very good attack stat. So it's not passive. It's pretty good offensively. It's just lacking the reliable recovery. But then again, you can still run Rest. You can still run Lefties Protect. And this mon will cause some issues this season, I can guarantee you that. Next up, we have got our Pelipper, which it's a Pelipper. I am not going to go too in depth in this, because this is actually a mon I trade away. Pelipper, in my mind, whilst I was drafting, I was like, I really want to pick up Hisuian Quillfish. And with Hisuian Quillfish getting Swift Swim, I was like, you know what, as a low tier Terra Captain, and in the rain, it could be a bit of a threat. It definitely could be. And unfortunately, I decided to pick up Pelipper. I say unfortunately because it really doesn't work with the rest of my team all that well. The only one that it kind of synergizes okay with would be the Bramblegast, because we don't care about the storm moves. With our Wind Rider, we can actually just take advantage of that. So Bramblegast actually does kind of check those mons, or can check things like Tornadus and Thunderous if they decide to run storm moves instead of like Air Slash. And I don't know if Air Slash is actually blocked by it, but if suddenly Thunderbolt, if they run it over Thunderbolt, then they're gonna be immune to that. I don't know why I'm going on to Bramblegast, but yeah, Pelipper just kind of exists. I don't have really much of a electric weakness, so it did kind of make sense to pick up that 4 times electric. But you know what? I don't think it was really a good pick for my team. It does give me like a decent actual flying type, because I wouldn't count Enamorus as a flying type, but it does mean that, you know, we're doubling up on some of those weaknesses. But the main reason I picked it up was Rain for Hisuian Quillfish, that after prepping for week 1, I realised it was stupid. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that mon, and we're bringing in something different that you will see later, that also helps in my speed tiers. Then we picked up Hisuian Quillfish, which of course was the reason I picked up Pelipper. This mon can be great offensively or defensively with Eviolite. It's surprisingly bulky, only weak to ground, and I think we do have pretty solid ground switch-ins, albeit now I'm looking at it, perhaps not the greatest ground switch-ins, but we do have things like Enamorus, defensive Mew, as well as Ting-Lu. Ting-Lu can take pretty much any ground type hit that it wants to. Bramblegast, I guess, at a stretch, will be able to do that as well. But I also have got the Terror of Water and Grass on this, as well as the Poison. Grass obviously gets rid of my ground weakness, and Water was just because I had the Rain. I may end up changing that after week 1, but we'll see. I haven't changed it yet because it does get some water moves, and actually water against the ground is quite nice. So we'll see. I might change that, I might not. But yeah, it's a good bulky mon, gives me more hazards in Toxic Spikes and Spikes, and just a fantastic typing that my team was kind of lacking. I say lacking, like I do have a dark type in Ting-Lu, but with this being a Terra Captain and not a dark one at that, it means that I do still have a dark type regardless of whether or not I Terra Hisuian Coolfish. Then we went ahead and we picked up Bramblegast. I realised at this point I have literally no removal, not a single one. Mew lost Defog, and there is not a single Pokemon on my team that is able to remove hazards. So I picked up Bramblegast, which is in 4 points, which is, honestly, it could be worse. Bramblegast is an alright mon. It is okay. It can do a job, and if I really am scared of hazards, then I can bring Bramblegast and just, Rapid Spin those away. It does get Strength Stab, it does get Leech Seed, it can run Power Whip and Shadow Sneak. Like, it doesn't get anything on the physical side as a ghost type move outside of Shadow Sneak and Phantom Force. And Phantom Force can have its use, but it also can be very much a detrimental move to have if you've got those 2 turns to try and waste. But yeah, Bramblegast, just a good low tier option, also gives me another Spiker. Greedent, there is no explanation needed for Greedent. And I picked up Sneasel. So Sneasel was just there for a speed tier. I gave it Ice, I gave it Fighting, and I gave it Electric. Just as a good combination of moves to be able to try and hit with. My Fighting and Electric is slow as fuck in Iron Hands. So yeah, picking up Sneasel, giving it those typings, just made me think that maybe this could act as a fast Fighting type or a fast Electric type for the team, when Iron Hands just won't do. So yeah, that's a very quick, very rushed, because I'm running late after planning everything, draft analysis. If you'd enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe. Honestly, our schedule is absolutely nuts. We'll be playing MV Week 1, and I am terrified, absolutely terrified. So, yeah, make sure to sub so you don't miss out on that one. Until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.